They're everywhere, smiling at you, acting like they've got your back, cheering you on with every little success. But underneath all that charm is a dagger, hidden, waiting for you to relax, to trust. And that's when it strikes. These are manipulators. And today, they're more dangerous than ever because they don't show up like villains anymore. They show up as friends, as co-workers, as partners, as supporters. The modern manipulator isn't loud or obvious. They don't yell. They don't make a scene. They play slow. They play smart. They play the long game. And if you're not sharper than them, you'll lose everything without even realizing you've been played. Niccolo Machiavelli didn't just understand manipulation. He mastered the art of flipping it. And in today's world, if you want to survive, not just survive, but dominate, you have to learn how to use his tactics like weapons. Not by being aggressive, not by being loud, but by being subtle, by being silent, by being surgical with your strategy. So let's start with the first tactic, one of Machiavelli's favorites, strategic ignorance. See, the best manipulators, they're always setting traps. Not big, obvious traps. Tiny little bait, fake kindness, fake vulnerability, dramatic sob stories. And what do they want? For you to take the bait, to step in, to try to help, or worse, to get comfortable enough to tell them something personal. Here's how Machiavelli would handle it. Play dumb. Strategic ignorance means you see the manipulation, but you pretend like you don't. Don't correct them. Don't argue. Don't challenge anything they say. Let them think they've got you fooled. Because while they're getting comfortable, while they're gloating inside, you're watching everything. You're collecting data. You're learning every little weakness they reveal. And when you've gathered enough, you strike. Not emotionally, not impulsively. You strike with facts, with timing, and with precision. Call them out too soon, and you blow your advantage. But let them keep talking. Let them keep overplaying their hand. They'll walk right into your trap. Blind. Tactic 2. Control the narrative. Manipulators win when they control the story. They twist facts, spin drama, manufacture chaos. Why? Because confusion is their oxygen. If everyone's confused, no one asks questions. No one sees the truth. Machiavelli never allowed that. He knew. Whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. So you have to become a master of framing. If someone's lying about you, don't defend. Don't explain. Change the story. Make their lies look like desperation. Stay calm. Stay quiet. Smile. Why? Because people don't trust explanations. They trust confidence. The more you explain, the more guilty you look. Don't let manipulators dictate the terms. Don't play defense. Control how people see you. Even if it means acting cold, do it. Because if you don't shape your image, someone else will. Tactic 3. Divide and distract. This one's brutal. One of Machiavelli's oldest plays, and still one of the most effective. Manipulators love forming little alliances. They whisper behind your back. They gang up on you in subtle ways. They coordinate attacks. And you know what? Most of these alliances are built on fragile egos, jealousy, competition. So your job isn't to attack them head on. That's amateur work. Your job is to turn them against each other. How? Start by feeding their insecurities. Compliment one of them more than the others. Accidentally leak some private information to the least trusted one. Casually mention how you've heard rumors about tension in their little group. Watch what happens. They'll start watching each other. Distrust will grow. The alliance will crack. And when manipulators don't trust each other, they collapse. You won't have to lift a finger. They'll destroy themselves from the inside out. Tactic 4. Expose without accusing. Calling someone a manipulator outright rarely works. They'll flip it, make you the bad guy, cry, play the victim, tell everyone you're paranoid. Machiavelli's move? Expose the manipulation without ever making it personal. Point out inconsistencies, publicly but casually. Ask sharp questions like, "Isn't it funny how these things always happen around them?" Or, "Have you noticed how the story keeps changing?" Stay calm. Stay detached. No direct accusations. You don't need to say, "manipulator." You let other people connect the dots. People hate being manipulated, but they hate feeling gullible even more. Once you plant that seed of doubt, others will start noticing things on their own. You don't need to destroy the manipulator's reputation. You just make people uncomfortable enough to question it. Tactic 5. Silence as a weapon. Manipulators feed on reactions. They need you to react, panic, defend yourself, get angry. Because when you react, they win. They steer the story. They label you emotional or unstable. They discredit you. Machiavelli knew silence wasn't weakness. It was power. Stay quiet when they want you loud. Don't defend. Don't explain. Let their words hang in the air. Let them over-explain. Let them get nervous. When you finally do speak, it hits harder. It carries weight. Say less. Observe more. The less you speak, the less they have to work with. The more they talk, the more they reveal. Let them trap themselves with their own mouth. Tactic 6. Make them need you. Manipulators hate not having control. So Machiavelli's move? Flip the game. Make yourself so useful, so irreplaceable, that they need you more than you'll ever need them. Not out of kindness, out of calculation. Help them. Solve problems. Be the key to their success. And just when they get used to you, disappear. Go quiet. Let them feel the absence. When someone becomes dependent on you, they start ignoring your moves. They excuse your behavior. They tolerate things they wouldn't normally accept, because losing you would cost them. Machiavelli wasn't interested in fairness. He was interested in power. And dependency is power. Tactic 7. Turn their own tools on them. Manipulators use fear, guilt, confusion. Use it back on them. Be polite, but distant. Be unpredictable. Offer help, but with a blank expression. If they try to guilt trip you, thank them and walk away smiling. If they lie, nod. Then ask a question that forces them to reveal their own contradictions. The point isn't revenge, it's precision. Play their game better than they can. Because when you start using their tools against them, they lose their advantage. You become the one they fear. Tactic 8. Control your presence. Manipulators don't just manipulate with words, they manipulate through presence. Machiavelli understood power isn't about shouting, it's about energy. Move slow, talk slow, hold eye contact, be still. When you walk into a room, take your time. Don't explain yourself. Don't fidget. People who rush, who overtalk, who seek approval, they're easy targets. Your goal? Be unreadable. Be calm. Be controlled. Manipulators won't know how to handle you. They can't manipulate what they can't predict. Tactic 9. Let them win small battles. Manipulators love resistance. They feed off it. So here's Machiavelli's ruthless play. Let them win small. Let them think they've got the upper hand. Let them gloat. Let them get comfortable. Meanwhile, You're gathering information. You're securing alliances. You're preparing your real move. When you strike, it's final. Because while they were celebrating, you were planning their downfall. And they won't even realize it until it's too late. Now, here's where it gets darker and smarter. Because Machiavelli didn't just play to win battles, he played to win wars. And if you really want to stay ahead of manipulators, you have to understand this brutal truth. Power is perception, and manipulators are masters at controlling perception. That's why most people lose. They think being right is enough. They think if they tell the truth, people will wake up. Machiavelli would laugh at that. He knew. Truth doesn't matter. Perception matters. Manipulators don't win because they have facts. They win because they control the way people see things. So you have to shift your mindset. Stop thinking about proving anything. Start thinking about controlling how people perceive you. And the first rule of that? Detach from emotion. Manipulators hide behind emotion. They'll cry to dodge accountability. They'll smile while lying. They'll get offended the moment you call them out. It's all a show, a smokescreen. Because when emotions run high, logic disappears. So, what's your power move? Detachment. When they cry, you observe. When they yell, you stay calm. When they accuse, you stay silent or ask calm questions. You force their entire emotional strategy to collapse. People respect those who stay cool under pressure. They distrust people who constantly perform emotions. And slowly, you flip the perception. You look strong. They look unstable. Not because you fought, but because you didn't flinch. Second rule, never need anyone. Manipulators smell neediness like blood in water. If you need attention, they trap you. If you need validation, they trap you. If you need closure, they trap you. Machiavelli believed in power through indifference. That's why your greatest weapon is to not need anything from anyone. They ghost you. You vanish. They insult you. You smirk. They spread lies. You stay silent. Why? Because people can't control someone who doesn't chase, doesn't defend, doesn't beg. This kind of indifference is terrifying to manipulators. It starves them of their favorite weapon, your reaction. And when you don't react, their mask starts to slip. Everyone notices who's calm and who's losing control. Third rule, subtle isolation. Manipulators often come with an entourage, people who defend them, enable them, protect them. But here's the secret. They surround themselves with weak people, people they can control. So don't waste energy confronting these people. Instead, make them irrelevant. How? By building your own quiet alliances. Earn respect, help people without words. Be reliable, be valuable. Slowly, the people around the manipulator will gravitate toward you. Not because you badmouthed anyone, but because you delivered where the manipulator only performed. And before you know it, their influence fades. People stop listening, stop caring, stop defending them. You didn't destroy them. You made them obsolete. That's conquest, Machiavelli style. Fourth rule, reveal patterns, not accusations. Want to destroy a manipulator without touching them? Learn the art of the casual comment. You don't accuse, you don't attack. You simply drop a thought into the room. It's funny how the same person always seems to have drama around them. Or, have you noticed how some people always seem to change their story? You're not naming names. You're describing behavior. What happens? The manipulator feels the pressure. but they can't call you out without looking guilty. And everyone else starts connecting the dots on their own. That's the power of psychological suggestion. You don't need to point fingers, just describe patterns. People will see what they refused to see before. Fifth rule: routine is your shield. Manipulators thrive in chaos. The more chaotic you are, emotionally, socially, professionally, the easier you are to control. But you want to be untouchable? Live with routine. Stay consistent. Be predictable in your stability. Because when you're calm, structured, and emotionally steady, manipulators find no cracks to crawl into. People will trust you more and trust them less. Your reputation becomes bulletproof. Even if the manipulator tries to paint you as unstable, it won't work. Everyone will remember. You were always the calm one, the reliable one, the logical one, and the manipulator was all over the place. That's how you win before the fight even starts. Sixth rule: let them self-destruct. Machiavelli believed not every enemy needs to be confronted. Some just need a little rope. When you let a manipulator think you're not watching, they get arrogant. They overplay their hand. They expose themselves. So sometimes the smartest move is to step back. Don't confront. Don't react. Watch. Let them get cocky. Let them lie more, manipulate more, sabotage more. And when it all blows up, you'll be the one standing there, calm, silent, respected, while everyone else finally sees the truth, because they didn't need you to tell them. The manipulator revealed it all by themselves. Seventh rule: tactical unavailability. Manipulators need access to your energy. They feed off your reactions, your attention, your presence. So take it away. Machiavelli's rule: be selectively unavailable. Not distant, not cold, just unpredictable. Respond when it suits you. Be present on your terms. Disappear when you need to. This confuses manipulators. It puts them on edge, because if they don't know where you stand, they can't control you. Your unpredictability becomes their anxiety. Eighth rule: reward value, not loyalty. Manipulators will often prove loyalty, public praise, agreeing with you, taking your side. But Machiavelli didn't care about loyalty. He cared about value. So test people. Can they produce results? Can they deliver when it matters? Give manipulators responsibility and watch. They'll crumble. They perform well in gossip, not in pressure. And when they fail, don't argue. Don't explain. Just remove access. Reallocate trust. When people see you reward competence, not drama, manipulators lose their grip. Ninth rule: stop explaining. Manipulators thrive on explanations. Every word you give them is a tool they can twist. So follow Machiavelli's rule. Minimum words, maximum impact. If you're accused, don't defend. Redirect. If you're insulted, don't react. Smile. If your motives are questioned, don't explain. Stay quiet. Silence unsettles manipulators more than any argument. It shows you don't need approval, and that makes you untouchable. 10th rule: build an impenetrable circle. Manipulators don't survive in strong groups. They survive in toxic environments where gossip spreads and insecurity reigns. So build a circle they can't infiltrate. Surround yourself with solid, logical, strong-minded people. People who don't get triggered by nonsense. People who value action over gossip. When your circle is solid, manipulators have nowhere to go. Their games fall flat. Their lies die on arrival, and they either leave or self-destruct trying to get in. Now let's turn up the heat with one of the coldest tactics of all: weaponized kindness. Sounds strange, right? But Machiavelli would tell you, sometimes the sharpest sword is a smile. Manipulators are always expecting a fight. They expect you to be defensive, bitter, aggressive. So when you hit them with calm kindness, it rattles them. Not kindness because you're soft, kindness because you're strategic. When you stay calm, when you're generous, when you offer peace instead of war, you shatter their script. They don't know where to go. They can't play the victim. They can't provoke you. They can't make you look like the villain. But here's the key. This kindness has an expiration date. It's not unconditional. It's not weakness. It's controlled, temporary, tactical. You offer it when it serves you. You take it back when it doesn't. Because when you show kindness from a place of power, it's disarming. It lowers their guard. It softens their defenses. And when they least expect it, you withdraw it. And that's when they crumble. Because they thought they won. But they were walking right into your quiet, patient Machiavellian ambush. Next up, never try to teach them a lesson. This is a trap most people fall into. You think, I'll show them. I'll make them realize what they did. I'll expose them. And Machiavelli would shake his head. Because manipulators don't change because of your words. They don't care about learning a lesson. They care about power. They care about control. So the moment you make it personal, the moment you start lecturing them, you're giving them attention. You're feeding them. Machiavelli wouldn't waste a second on teaching lessons. He'd simply pull the strings quietly until the manipulator had no power left, no access, no influence. And when they screamed, nobody listened. That's the real lesson. Silence, isolation, irrelevance, no arguments, no speeches, just emptiness. Then comes the most ruthless move of all, becoming the mirror. Manipulators study people. They read reactions. They observe weaknesses. That's how they win. But Machiavellians, we study them. We reflect them. When they flatter, we flatter. When they withdraw, we withdraw. When they play calm, we play calmer. When they lie, we nod, we mirror. Because mirrors make manipulators panic. They rely on being in control. When you stop resisting and simply reflect them back, they don't know who's driving the game anymore. And when they realize they're not in charge, they unravel. Because mirrors don't lie. They show them who they really are. And manipulators can't handle it. Final lesson. The silent victory. Most people think you defeat manipulators with confrontation, big speeches, angry moments, righteous explosions. But Machiavelli knew real power is quiet. Real destruction is subtle. It's in the moments you don't react, don't explain, don't engage. It's in the way you control the room without saying a word. It's in the way people notice your consistency, your calmness, your presence, and slowly drift away from the manipulator without you lifting a finger. Because power, true power, isn't about being loud. It's about being calm, controlled, and utterly untouchable. It's about being so still, so solid, so clear, that manipulators run out of tools, run out of tricks, and run out of victims. Because in the end, Machiavelli wasn't about fighting dirty. He was about fighting smart. Not through anger, but through silence. Not through confrontation, but through strategy. Not through chaos, but through quiet domination. So the next time you spot a manipulator, don't react, don't fight, don't chase. Study, observe, Silently disarm them, piece by piece, until they have nowhere left to run and nowhere left to hide. Because you don't need to win the argument. You don't need to win the drama. You win the game by refusing to play it. And when you master that, you won't just survive manipulators. You'll make sure they can never manipulate you again. You'll be the storm they can't control, the silence they can't rattle, and the shadow they can't escape. That is the Machiavellian way.